Good morning, Tracker.
Good morning, Mattsby, and good morning, everyone out there. Happy Monday after Easter. Welcome back from the three-day vacation weekend, and good morning, Fat Chin, and happy motoring. Yeah, we'll do the normal thing here. Most of us have been celebrating the long weekend just by eating crazy delicacies, going to our favorite
Yeah,
restaurants, and discovering new favorite restaurants.
I've
You like
eaten
to
way
eat?
too many sweets this weekend. It's ridiculous now.
I had a fantastic Indian buffet for Easter. It was really good. And Kat and Danny are out on a Royal Caribbean cruise, heading from I guess the China main, or from Hong Kong to Japan.
And
And
Taiwan, yeah.
in Taiwan, Kat says he's already gained 10 pounds. I told him it's just temporary. I didn't like say the rest of that, which is that it's just gonna go right through him. Okay, let's see. I mean, like in the normal way, not like in a terrible way. So, without further ado, why don't we let's do the thing. I mean, obviously, Bitcoin's got had a really good weekend again,
Yeah.
and looks like the SPY to look at here.
Yeah, so I'll kick it off here with SPY, and it's not looking the greatest kind of a weekly open. So last week we did just close back above this 1.272 fib, but pre-market right now we're back below it, and it looks like it wants to head lower. Right, again, it looks like maybe the 100 week is back on the menu here, and if I pull up the Ichimoku cloud as well, we can see that it might even want to go down towards the bottom of the cloud here. And this week, the bottom of the cloud is around like 510, maybe like right around here. So we'll see if that's going to happen. But yeah, anytime price kind of opens up below like an important fib level, you got to be a little bit cautious because it could just continue that momentum lower. So SPY does not look favorable to the upside, especially after getting rejected a couple weeks ago back at that 1.414. So it was in a range all last week, but now we are kind of gapping below that range. And I think 515, 510 could be on the table for this week. And QQQ, same situation. It's actually gapping below the 100 week moving average, and the bottom of the cloud is basically at current price. So this is where it's at. If it starts to close candles underneath the cloud, then it'll probably just continue its journey lower. And I was talking with Tracker pre-market, and yeah, that 200-week moving average could be a magnet for price, right down there at 380s. So we could see it lose this 2021 high, and we could see it just continue lower. So IWM, QQQ, SPY, they kind of look like they do want to continue retesting lower levels, right? This is what it really looks like pre-market. There is no kind of catalyst to break out of this resistance zone. We did kind of have like a mean reversion already, but does this signal a beginning of a huge downtrend? Maybe not, right? Because when was the last time it really touched that 200? It was basically back here in March of 2023. It's been 2 years, right? So a big 2 year uptrend could be just stalling out, right? So I'm not saying it's going to just collapse from here, but we are probably going to just see some price movement sideways and down for QQQ, for SPY, just because they are losing a lot of momentum. And if they're losing a lot of momentum, I think there's better areas to focus on, like your Bitcoin over there, and not really the tech heavy stuff. So we can go into the IWM as well. This one already lost the weekly cloud, if you see right here. So we can see that it went down to this 236 and that held. And it's actually not doing too terrible pre-market. It's still in the same range. It's not breaking below any support. So perhaps IWM can continue to consolidate in this zone. So this has potential to maybe stabilize here. Not really looking for it to collapse or go lower. So this could maybe signal some kind of rotation into these assets because they have been lagging behind the market. And if you look at all the Bitcoin miners too, they are mostly green this morning as well. So this could be kind of a a good thing for not focusing on the SPY, not focusing on the QQQ, but for stuff that is actually green today, like Bitcoin related stuff. So I'm going to be looking at that mostly. And speaking of Bitcoin, I can take a look here and we can see it is going back up to my 45-degree angle. Once again, that is 88,100, 88,200. Then you got the baseline there at 88,077. So we are going to run up into some resistance, but some interesting things are happening. How it's looking like it wants to get back above that conversion line at 85,463. So that'll be a new development for Bitcoin, which kind of signals that it is looking likely to break above these resistance zones. And more importantly, back above this 1.414. I'll be watching that really carefully, the 91,158, just to see if it can actually flip that back to a support. And if so, it's basically game on again for Bitcoin back towards the 100s and beyond.
Oh yeah, I want to just see it sail right over that Ichimoku cloud and not touch it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, as you're saying about the IWM, a lot of the small caps have already just been, bombed all the way down to the lowest that they can go. A bunch of things hit like the
Decimated.
all-time lows. They have been decimated. There's not much farther down that they can bump down. I think a lot of the small caps, whatever the price is at, no one else is selling anymore. So it can only go up from there. Whereas there's still all the tech heavy stuff still seems like there's room to sell off. So yeah, let me show my Tesla chart for just a short-term Tesla chart. I just posted this about 20 minutes ago. This 4-hour chart, we've been in this gray channel forever. It feels like ever since the 488.54 high, and tries to get out, breaks up to the bottom, almost touches the bottom, does leave the bottom of the channel. So now maybe it's time to break out of the top of the channel. Let's see. So the max pain and options for this Friday is 245, which is also the weekly center pivot point right here. This gray part, 245.53. If price just like earnings is tomorrow after market close, it could maybe we hit the S1 today, 229.25. If it gets really like, they do a panic sell off, like maybe it wicks down to this 217.62, but then back up again to challenge the top of this channel somewhere between, hopefully it does just close right at the 245 at the end of this week, and then next week it could be coming, or by towards the end of the month here. Wait a second, I gotta hide this. Yeah, this is about May 1st is right here. So, somewhere between this 11.4% and this 23.6% fib, which will change if this goes lower. But for right now, I've got it right about here. So yeah, just look for maybe sideways-ish overall. I think the bottom's already in. I don't think it's going to get lower than 214.25. The very, very worst, maybe a double bottom, but I think either maybe here today, there at the worst for earnings, and then there's nowhere for it to go then up after that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just, maybe it's not a great week for a collar exactly, unless it's a pretty wide collar. Yeah, I don't know. Tesla, like the other techs, Nvidia, Google, Matt was talking about this morning. They're all looking kind of weak right now. But
yeah. Tesla, I think, still looks better than your Microsoft or Google or whatever, in my opinion. I have my Tesla chart that I wanted to show first.
Go right ahead.
So Tesla, I'm really focused on all this area, really, and it's going to open up right around the top of the Ichimoku cloud, the weekly cloud. And that's normal, right? It did that before and it bounced. So we could see something similar, do like a full range of motion, really, right? Maybe go back down to even the 220s here. And then I did, like, if you watch my weekly update on Friday, I did talk about how it could just be in a full range since it's earnings week, right? Go to the 220s, maybe even go up to the 270s. It could just be in this whole range still.
Mm-hmm.
that it's really just kind of a magnet for price. But if you look at the monthly chart here, price is still right around the top of the monthly Ichimoku. Right, it's not really that scary at all if you look at it. And I think what is happening with this chart is it's just finding the bottom, and I think bottoms sometimes take a while to play out. And we can see that after this massive move, it just kind of retraced back to where price was before the breakout. So I think this whole move was just a big bull trap, temporary bull trap, and the real move could be happening fairly soon. So that is something that I think is a positive catalyst for Tesla. I don't think that earnings are going to be too scary for the stock. I think when you look at the weekly chart, there's a lot of support in this zone. I think the angle and the arc are going to be like a magnet for price. Whether it does like go drift below it a few weeks or whatever, it doesn't matter because it's done it before, right? And it's gravitated back. I think what's going to really happen is price is going to just gravitate around that zone. And the monthly chart with the monthly cloud here, it's really showing that too. Like it could just stay around these 220s, 230s, and I think just build a nice base there until it goes higher. Or maybe this week will be the week that it wants to go burst and stay above the cloud and then just continue its journey higher as well. So Tesla, in my opinion, it does not look as bad as the QQQ or your Googles or your Microsoft or all that stuff, right? It's actually still holding levels relatively well. So I think it'll probably outperform. And I think you can classify this on with some of your risk on stuff in association with Bitcoin, with the miners, with IWM. I think things still could rotate into Tesla as well, while rotating out of the bigger names that we see right here. So with that, Tracker.
Very cool. Let's see. Let me just do my VIX chart again. So if you remember what the last weekend, we had a big gap down in the VIX, and gaps don't always get filled up in the VIX because it always wants to trend lower. And then we opened. Let's see. Wednesday had had a little gap down, filled it back up, came down, and we're opening this weekend with a gap up. I just say, if you've got TradingView and you can put your Ichimoku cloud here on the 1 hour, just watch this Ichimoku baseline and this conversion line. And if price can if the VIX can drop below the conversion line, then yeah, it's risk back on for most stuff. I don't know. Well, it'll probably start off the pre-market real scary, and maybe prices will recover a little bit into the morning, and then we'll see what happens by tomorrow. This looks like it just wants to go sideways. And on the 4 hour chart, the VIX looks like the Ichimoku cloud still wants to go up. So just look out for that. Again, if you watch the 1 hour, then you kind of get a warning. If it starts to go up over my moving average 75 here on the 1 hour chart, it's about 33 right now. Yeah, that's like your warning sign. Oh, maybe should rotate back into cash generally. But if it can fall down out of this cloud, then maybe we can see some prices go up a little bit generally. All right, let's see. Request.
Yeah, I got HEMS ready.
I've got a HEMS.
Yeah, I got HEMS ready. So my HEMS chart right here, I can take a look here, and yeah, it's still above the 50-week moving average, still above the 2540 right here, and it is looking like it's trying to establish some kind of base there. So it doesn't look too terrible right now, but I will be watching this zone for sure. Right. And if it ever starts to break below and kind of flip this whole zone to a resistance, then I'll be a little bit more cautious with HEMS. But I think what we're just seeing now is just kind of some sideways action until it gets closer to the cloud to make a decision, maybe closer to this angle again that we saw in the past to make a decision as well. And then we'll go from there. But right now I'm looking at $25, still your support zone for HEMS, and nothing really has changed for the past 3 weeks.
Yep. And I just say my levels for HIMS are the same as last time we talked about it. From the $13.47 bottom to the $72.98 high, and then the higher low of $22.54. From where price is right now on HIMS, just to get to the 23.6% fib is about 36% higher, and I'd like to see it get over that to at least the 38.2% extension for $45.27, which would be 69% higher move. I'm looking for a 69% higher, drops back down to 236, and then if that holds, then the big move, the 1236, 161% higher from that minor two bottom. So yeah, a great risk reward setup for him. Where we are right now, with your stop loss below 2254.
All right. Let's see. Baba. Yeah. You can go ahead first.
Before we do Baba, I just want to say I took Matt's advice on Rocket Lab last week, just because he was saying it looked like it might go sideways or trend down for a little bit. And if you look at the weekly cloud, it's got some room to kind of retest down here. So I exited my Rocket Lab and just went to cash on this one. I'm just going to wait and watch these closer levels. I've got some price alerts. Just want to see if it goes up or down over these and see if I can get a lower position. Both Rocket Lab, and then the other one was Oscar Health. Oscar Health had a similar thing. I kind of sold out of this one. I'm going to wait and see if it retests any of these lows. So, but sorry, back to Baba. Yeah, I'm hoping that it's finished wave 4. Sometimes wave 4 likes to take longer than it should. So if it does start to fall back over, you can see it's under this 8-hour Ichimoku. It's kind of been trending down for a while. Let's see if the 618 can hold again at 103.02. But if it can get over this baseline at 114.64, then look for 126.38 next. You can see there's a sell order block up here between 119 and 127, and a buy order block down here between 101 and the last low of $95.
Yeah, and my
How about you, Bat? You want
my Baba.
Yeah.
Baba. So here's Baba, and yeah, it had a beautiful back test of the weekly Ichimoku cloud, and it cut right through the 200-week moving average, my purple line, but it just did a retracement back to resistance and got rejected. So the baseline rejected, the 382 at 111 rejected, and now it's range bound. So I mean, to get a really big trend reversal, you really need to see it stabilize back on top of that 111, and it's just not doing it, right? It did open the week above it, but it closed the week last week below it, and now I can see it just sideways to down for weeks. I don't really see a catalyst of breaking above. The opportunity again, though, if price were to come back down to the 100 or maybe even the cloud again, 97, I think that's the real opportunity for Baba. So I just am watching it right now. I'm watching it to see it stabilize here, but I can see it just stay in this zone here, in this whole zone. I can see it staying here for weeks. So there's really nothing for me to do, especially if the QQQ and everything is or the IWM or SPY or whatever, if it stays relatively down to flat, I don't really see a catalyst of this breaking out. So I think there's better opportunity elsewhere, especially after this massive move. You got to really give it time to cool off before it wants to break out.
Yeah, it's probably another Bollinger Band victim, right? Punished for going outside the Bollinger Band at the top.
Yeah, pretty much. And
all right, I got Well, no, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to do DXYZ, and I'll switch it over to you. But yeah, DXYZ is going back to the 50-week moving average. I'm paying attention to that, and that's 29.14. It's basically kind of near it pre-market. So we'll see if that really wants to hold. But DXYZ, it's been in kind of a base building mode around that 50% fib. So I think it does have potential to hold that area. And everything is kind of lining up in that zone where the cloud formation in the weeks to come is right around there too. The 50-week moving average, the 50% fib. So I think this zone does have potential to hold. Now, if it ever starts to close candles below that 50-week, then I'll be like a little bit concerned that I might want to go retrace lower. But right now, it does look like it does want to stabilize in that zone. So I'll be watching this zone precisely the whole week.
Nice. Yeah, my DXYZ chart shows almost exactly the same thing. It basically had a double bottom here recently, just on the left and the right side of this earnings report. Which where did that come? Well, right. It's just they don't. It's not a company. They just have they report a couple financial things. But yeah, I'm looking for this bottom to hold. There's already buy orders down here. The cloud on the daily chart seems to want to kind of hang around in this zone. Um, but, from the all-time low to the all-time high to this higher low, I'm looking for it to go to at least the 23.6 at 41.32 and test that. And if I can get above it, then it's 69, almost 70% higher to $51.30. And then back to check out 41.32 for support. And then if it can hold that, then from that wave 2 support, it's like another 165% higher. So this could be really good. Again, it's a pretty good risk reward setup. With your stop loss should be under 25.19. What else we got? Meta.
Yeah, I got a meta chart pulled up here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, my meta is also breaking below important levels, right? We can see that it already broke below this fib right here, and that's the 1.272, the 573.75. It broke below it, flipped it to a resistance for 2 weeks in a row. It went to retest and also retested this arc right here. So this also looks like it wants to continue down, right? And it never even touched its 100 week. So I think that could be the destination. So that's 462. The bottom of the cloud is around 458. So we'll just see price maybe gravitate a little bit lower, retest these lows over here back in August or July of 2024. And I think that's the destination. So what's important to pay attention to is once we lost levels, we can never reclaim it. And since we can never reclaim those levels as support, they are still pretty massive resistance. And now it's back inside the cloud again. So I have to look lower before any kind of bounce. So just more confluence that some of these mega cap tech stocks, they just want to continue lower, and there's better focus elsewhere, right? There's the Bitcoin related stuff looks a lot better now than a lot of these mega cap techs.
Yeah. Yeah, my meta is sort of the same story here. I was looking for a nice, here's like from the pandemic low, right? Actually, it's not even the pandemic low. From this 2023 low, I'm looking for like a 1-2 right here, and it has this nice takeoff, the 764, but then the 382 didn't hold, and so it's basically fallen back over, and this 11.4 for fib extension is 465. I think Matt just mentioned 462. So somewhere around 465, 462 might be where this creeps back into. And it does. Then it's pretty good as long as it doesn't fall below 414.50. Falls below 414.50, it could drop lower. So that's where you want to. If you're in it, your stop loss should be below 414.50. But you could start buying around 465, 462, like Matt said, and look for some reward for that risk. And then, maybe I might have to redo this whole thing. Maybe this is going to be no, this is still my 1-2. I don't know. Maybe this will be a bigger 1-2. We'll see. But that's what I'd say. Look for 465 to 462 next. And then it's something that comes back up to 1,000 after that over time.
Very good. You have a Redwire chart, right? I think you
have Redwire.
I think you were talking about that the other day.
I was. I like Redwire from where it is right now. Again, it's a It already came. This is a pretty sharp 1-2 here. So, I mean, could it fall over a little bit again? Yeah, it could. Come back to the. Actually, I guess I better look at the 8-hour chart here. Oh, it's at $10 right now. Looks pretty strong. So I've put your stop below this Ichimoku 8-hour baseline at 849. But if you can get over my moving average 75 here, that would look really a nice continuation higher. So again, to the 236 from this giant 1-2 is from our prices right now. That's 26% higher to the 236. And if I can get to the 382, that's 62% higher. And of course, if it goes 1-2, it has support here, the 236. Then it looks even better from there. Yeah, risk reward setup is looking pretty good. So the 1-2-3-6 is almost 200% higher from this wave 3 sub wave 2 bottom. Yeah, I like Redwire.
All right. And yeah, I was looking at that yeah. Yeah, so that
Right.
Yeah, I have it. Universal Security Instruments, I guess. There we are. And I'm looking at it, and yeah, it's actually looking better and better pre-market. Even it's up to the 230s. But I think the story kind of was told when you just look at the monthly chart. It looks really interesting here for the fact that this was a very big, if you just draw a line right here, a very big resistance zone. Then it was a breakout, like liquidity grab underneath it, and now it's really trying to reclaim that zone. And it was also a previous support zone back in 2008, and it was a previous resistance zone back in 2000. So that black line that I just drew has basically been super important throughout time, and now it's actually trying to get back above it. So I think with that said, we can look at the price of the 100-week or 100-month moving average, and that's really at 251. So does it really have a lot of room to go much higher? Maybe not, but I think there is potential to actually reclaim that level, that $2, maybe $2, 215, that zone. Just flip it back to a support, and if so, then I think it can start to establish a base and go higher. So it does look like it has potential once again for you. Oh wait, I forgot you, didn't I? Oh yeah, energy field.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. It's kind of the similar situation. So many U's. Here we go. All right, we'll do it. The same situation. The same situation here. We'll go right here. Right, it was a previous resistance, breakout, backtest. Weird. It's the same kind of chart, right? So on the monthly chart here, we can see that 371 is kind of your support zone, and we can see that price can have the potential to go to the bottom of the cloud, maybe 611. So yeah, same situation. Previous resistance, flip to support, breakout, backtest, and here we are. It looks like it has potential to go higher.
Yeah, I can just give you some short-term levels for quadruple U here. So I drew this line back to these levels back here. Actually, I guess I should pull it right there. Same sort of line Matt just drew. And in my chart, it's kind of above that line. From the recent high of 747 down to the recent low of $3.20. It looks like there's a sell order block here at the 50% retrace, about 533. It didn't really do a 382, 236. Yeah, I'd say if it loses my moving average 75 on the daily chart at 465, then it'll probably want to test 420 again. But barring that, maybe it'll just run straight for this 584 up here. The pivot points say that we're way above the monthly pivot, above the monthly R2. It's kind of stuck between the R2 and R3 for the month. And then you get really close. The daily center pivot is down here at 441. It's way above that too. Yeah, it's looking pretty bullish from here. I don't know. It's above this daily Ichimoku cloud. As long as it doesn't go back in the cloud, I think it'll want to keep going higher. So eventually look for it to, want to retest the previous high of 747. Not a bad risk reward. It's just kind of in the middle. So, buy it if it goes lower. If you're trading it in the short term, you might want to sell it ahead of 656 and wait for it to come back to the 50% level. All right, that's all I got for that right now. Looks kind of high on the RSI. Right. Oh, it's a uranium play, he says. Oh, that's cool. If you like uranium, I'll tell you a stock I like even better. You've probably heard, you might already have it even. UEC, Uranium Energy Corporation. This is, they've been stockpiling cheap uranium for years and years and years. Like I guess they used to be sort of into mining it somewhat, but really they found when uranium was in disfavor, they were just going around and raising capital to buy as much uranium as they could get their hands on cheaply. So they've got a good stockpile. If we go to small scale nuclear power for all sorts of to grow out our energy infrastructure here in the United States and elsewhere. So yeah, it looks like it made a slightly lower wave 2 here, but I'm still bullish on it overall. I could definitely see it going from 505 now to at least $15 in the future. There you go. UEC, something else to consider as well as that UU. Oh, and then Rocket Lab again.
Yeah, I have a Rocket Lab here.
Go ahead. Do your Rocket Lab first.
Yeah, so Rocket Lab, I see it just in a range still. It's in a zone between the 2130s and maybe the bottom here, 17s. Right, I can just see it just sticking in this range for some time until it really decides either test a little bit lower or break out above. So no catalyst that I see ready to break out above. It has been getting rejected with this 2021 previous high for multiple weeks in a row now, last week and the week before. So that is your resistance zone up there. So I don't think it's ready to break out. So maybe just stay in the $17 to $21 range for some time until it really proves it wants to break out.
Yeah, and if you look at my Rocket Lab, the 8-hour Ichimoku cloud shows exactly that. Here we are in pre-market at $19.35, and the Ichimoku cloud seems to indicate it might dip down to 17.24 before coming back to right where it is again. So, as I said, I sold out of my Rocket Lab last week, and I'm going to look and see if I can buy it back down here near 17.24ish. I can just put my alert right there, just above there right now. Yeah, I like it, but I want to buy it lower. All right.
Well, there's AMD. Yeah, go ahead. There's no change for me. It's just in the same zone as last week.
Yeah, AMD, when it hit $76, I figured that looked like it was probably the low. We'll find out for sure, I guess, as this week goes on. But yeah, it's just under the weekly pivot right now and under the daily pivot. So if it goes extreme, maybe it'll test this monthly S2 8304. And that would be a fine place for it to hold. But overall, I'm just looking at this big chart. Ooh, let's go bigger. My 1-2 basically let's see, from 54.57 to 227.30, and then back to $76. I'd like it to see it just to get to let's say the 382 here. From where price is now, 64% higher to that 382 level, back to 236, and the 1236 is up here at 289 or 234% higher. So, I maybe AMD we could get it a little lower, but overall the risk reward is pretty good down here. With your stop below $76. If Tesla has blowout earnings, I will buy Full Self-Driving. I know, right? I don't know about blowout. We'll see. It's certainly ripe for a reversal.
Yeah.
Let's look at this Tesla chart. Is that the one? No, this one.
Yeah,
As
like it's
long as
3-4.
214 holds as the bottom, yeah, the weekly Ichimoku cloud wants it to go up. You just saw this on Matt's screen. So let's see if 214 can hold and just trend upwards into the summer months. And typically, like when Tesla is going down into earnings, I expect a reversal and it goes up after the earnings release. Not necessarily like the same night, but like after the earnings, it starts to trend up. If it was trending up into earnings, then I'd expect it to dump. And then, I don't know. We're trending down into earnings, so I think it's going to want to go up after earnings. Oh, UUUU is equivalent with EFR for Canadians. Interesting. I'll have to read up on UUU. All right, well, it's 9:05. Matt, do you have any final thoughts for the week?
Yeah, my final thoughts are I'm just not going to be paying attention to the bigger tech stuff, the SPY related stuff, the QQQ. It's all about Bitcoin related stuff for me now. Maybe even smaller cap stuff. I think the rotation could be coming into play. Even Tesla, I think, is in that regard as well. It looks a lot better than some of those tech stocks at current levels. So I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, it's just my focus is no longer the QQQ or QQQ or SPY, simply because it's breaking levels, right? Breaking below levels. And whenever I see that, I kind of like to focus on other things that are still holding their levels, which is the crypto related stuff. So that's really what I'm looking at.
Let's see. I guess I should say along that same lines, BitX is a 2x ETF for Bitcoin. Just looking at the weekly Ichimoku clouds here, from where price is right now, it's 40% higher to get to the top of this sell order block, about 43% higher to get to the top of this Ichimoku cloud, and the monthly R2, if it gets really bullish, $54.31 is 47% higher. That's something I'm considering switching into in the short term. And then there's another ETF. I mentioned this super early this morning on my feed on X. The XXRP. It's brand new. It's only like 3 weeks old. So I guess I better do a 4-hour chart. I came up with a bunch of different scenarios. Looks like it's kind of doing this 1, 2, 3. So I don't have. Yeah, there's not enough data for a larger Ichimoku cloud. Here's the 1-hour Ichimoku cloud, where it seems to want to go up to 30. But you can see there's a market sell order block up here at 61.8% extension fib at 32.53. So from where price, I think it could close this gap down. So just look for an opportunity to buy it around $30, and I don't know, 10% higher to 32.53. But if XRP does decide to take off, actually this could go significantly higher. I don't know, just starting with 74% higher. I don't know. I'll see how XRP goes. XXRP. This is another play I'm considering. And that's it. It's 9:08.
Yeah,
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
For having me on your show again.
Our show. Yes.
Our show. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys, good look out there today. Maybe think about raising cash if the big caps really start to keep going down. And think about some small cap plays in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And MSTX, MSTR, MicroStrategy, and Coin, and all those things that are Bitcoin related.
Yeah. All right, Traeger. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah.
Yep. We'll be back tomorrow.
All right.
Bye, everybody. Good luck.
Bye-bye.